Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Conqueror Gun Carriage. It's a tier 10 British SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of mines and it's under the command of Dr. Dip. Now he's armed with a 234mm 9.2 inch howitzer and he's got the second highest damage of any SPG in the game, 1200 hit points from one shot if he can penetrate 59mm of armour, and the burst radius for standard shells is 12.2 meters, and with premium shells he can get that up to 13.5, and that massively increases the amount of damage that he can do over a wider area. Okay, he's just finding a nice little position. The skin, by the way, that's from Jazz and Sir Rusty and is freely available to anyone who wants it. They've got a Facebook page and you can get one. Okay, well, first targets come into the castle grounds. That was an EBR 105 I think we saw briefly. And there's now an Object 430 moving in. There he is. Rounds out. A near miss for 185 hit points of damage on that one. Now, one of the big pains about this Arty is the long reload time. Yeah, 37.56 seconds. It's very, very long indeed. It seems like you're waiting an eternity for the rounds to be loaded. And that's with a good crew and a gun rammer. It should be longer. One of the bad things for the enemy is the fact that the trajectory of the shells is parabolic, which means as you fire it in, and he fired there at the Object 430 and missed, the shell is going up and coming down almost vertically on the enemy. And that means you do a lot of damage to them, even if they're hiding behind a rock. Now, most of the armour on this Arty is actually on the hull, because it's obviously from a Conqueror tank, but it does have 15mm of armour around the casement, and that protects it from light shells. Never actually got built, this Arty. Object 430. Oh, an EBR 105 pops in. Are we going to get a shot on him? He's been badly damaged by a couple of rounds there and taken out by the M55, who got a lovely shot in there and damaged the 430 as well at the same time. Seems there's a right big battle going on the northeast corner of the castle. Some of our heavy tanks are fighting it out, and we just lost a 50 TP against their 705A. That's the tank with the rear turret. The rear turret version of the 705. Now we're aiming for that IS-7 near the centre line. Oh, we've got a red line there briefly because he's hiding behind that rock. Even with the good trajectory on this Arty, it can still be difficult to try and loop the shells over a rock face. And the Object 430 there, well, he was out in the open and he is a splash kill, but he's gone hidden behind that rock again. It does take quite a long time to dial in on this gun to get really accurate. He's fired a round in to try and splash him to death and didn't get a kill. Seems the enemy tanks are actually bunching up in that northeast corner. It might be a good idea for Dr. Dip to actually select the premium ammo. He's got 4 rounds of premium. You get 24 rounds in total in the magazine. He could start firing premium rounds into that corner and he'd do much more damage to all of those tanks, because one shell landing near one tank might actually set one of the other ones off as well. Okay, he's loaded. The Object 430 is in the castle grounds. He's got a red line. Needs to adjust his aim. Dialing in. And the Object 430 hides. It's almost like he knows that the shell is coming and he takes avoiding action. He's changing position to avoid counter battery. There are 2 enemy Artys in this game, an Object 261 and a 212A. Well, he's now going to aim at the northeast corner of the castle. Object 705, and just behind him is an FB215B183. That's the Death Star. And it looks like the 705 is pushing that wreck ahead of him as extra armor. If we can get a round onto that 705, it'll do a lot of damage. He fires the round in, pulls back before we can see where it went, but he still splashed it for 332 hit points. Yep. Oh, in fact, now there's an IS-7 there as well. So this is getting more interesting by the moment. In fact, the Death Star would be a much easier kill because he is a splash kill for this gun. Because remember, if you can get a near miss, it's half the... Oh, he hit the wreck! It's half the actual alpha damage, which it would in this case would be 600 hit points. And then a damage roll based on that if it was a direct hit, even if it didn't penetrate. So you would do a lot of damage, and that's far more than the outstanding hit points of that Death Star. And the IS-7 is following the 705 down. We're almost ready to go. Here we go. Just tracked the 705, and it looks like that was a near miss on the 705, but it actually damaged the IS-7 at the same time. The enemies lost their IS-7, the Jagdpanzer E100 got him. They've also lost their Death Star, the IS-7 killed him. So we're doing rather well in this corner. And the 705 goes. So we're now 3 tanks up on the enemy. There's a T10 on that corner sitting behind the church. But unfortunately we've got a red line, so we can't take a shot at him. We'd need to change position to get a shot. Okay, he's going to move over. Find a new firing position. Get a better angle on the enemy. There's still 7 enemy vehicles out there to kill. Now, which one's he going to go after first? Well, it looks like he was considering the Wizzy 120, but he's decided to go for the plateau where the tank destroyers are, and now changed his mind and gone back to the T10. Dialing in on the T10. If he can land the round on that corner, and he does, he's probably splashed the T10. And a lot of enemy tanks have now been spotted, including 261, who's just taken out by our T30. And they've lost their Wizzy 120. And now we're going for the 704. Still quite a long time before we'll be loaded. That was a shell from the M55, just hit the 704. Oh, he's being pummeled here. And there's also the Waffenträger Aufpanzer IV, so we're going to try and land the shell between them. Rounds out. Oh, he got a Bombardier! He killed 2 tanks with 1 shot. Took out the 704 and the Waffenträger Aufpanzer IV with 1 shot. And that leaves the enemy on just 3 remaining tanks, including a 212A, who we've now got sight of. But we're not loaded. Fabulous shot there on killing 2 tank destroyers in 1 shot. Brilliant. Now the enemy is just down to 1 tank now. The Object 257. We're almost loaded. We might get another round in. No, we won't. He's gone. Well played to Dr. Dip. Love seeing those Bombardiers. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And it's a 3rd class tank for Dr. Dip in the Conqueror Gun Carriage. He got a Bombardier. He took out 2 tanks with 1 shot, as you saw. The Object 704 and the Waffenträger Aufpanzer IV. He also managed to get a bruise mill, getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9 in that battle. But his win rate was only 1,780. He didn't do a huge amount of damage during the game and didn't get a huge amount of stun assist. Let's have a look at team score. Well, not the highest damage. That actually went to the Object 277 on our team with 4,830 hit points of damage. Next high score is the IS-7 with 3,118. And after that, it was the EBR-105 with 2,870. Dr. Dip managed to get 1,981, which is a respectable score for a tier 10 Arty. He also managed to get 2 kills, which is shared amongst 6 other players on his own team as the highest number of kills. The IS-7, the EBR-105, the M55, then we've got Dr. Dip, then we've got a Leopard prototype and a Jagdpanzer E100, all got 2 kills apiece. There was only one player on the enemy team who got more than 1 kill, and that was their Object 705A. When it came to base XP, well, he's much further down the table. As I said, didn't do a lot of stun assist. 936 base experience points went to the Object 277, 884 to the M55, and 852 to the EBR-105. Dr. Dip managed 652. He fired 10 rounds, got 1 direct hit and 1 penetration. Now, I wonder which one it was. Was it the Waffenträger? Or was it the other one? It was the Waffenträger, yes. He actually impacted on top of the Waffenträger. It went right through the hull and wiped him out, even though he had most of his hit points intact. 807 at the time, but the shell explosion was so big, it took out the 704 who was right next door to him. So that was a rather unfortunate thing of, don't stand so close to me. And he damaged 6 of the enemy. Oh, we didn't say this. A damage of 1,981 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 6 in the enemy, killed 2, and 44 hit points of stun assist of 11 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 32,942 credits, and after ammunition resupply, these shells are very expensive. 8,442 credits left over to take away. 978 XP times 4 for the first victory on this occasion, 1,956 for completing the mission and events, took away 5,868 experience points altogether. So a very satisfactory game there in the Bombardier. I think it's always nice when you get one, you think, yes, that really makes a big difference for the battle, and it certainly did make a big difference to his teammates who were near the enemy cat, because if the 704 and the Waffenträger had actually gone to work on them, they probably would have ended up in a very sorry state. But taking 2 of them out with 1 shot, very, very nice indeed. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, hit that notification button and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching.